I've been essential for 11 months. That's the dangerous truth of working for a man like Mariko Bianchi. You learn to balance numbers that could bury empires, manage transactions that flow through legitimate channels like clean water, and never, ever let him see the cracks in your armor. My fingers fly across spreadsheets that govern real estate portfolios worth more than some small nations, reconcile accounts for restaurants and construction companies, and import firms that operate in perfect legality. I draft contracts for property acquisitions that reshape neighborhood skylines, organize quarterly reports that satisfy auditors and tax authorities without revealing a single shadow. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories. And trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now, let's go back to hours before, where it all started. The penthouse office occupies the 43rd floor of a building Mariko owns outright. All floor-to-ceiling windows and dark walnut furniture and Italian marble that gleams under recessed lighting. The view stretches across the city like a kingdom laid out for inspection, glass towers catching sunset like promises of power. This is where the legitimate empire breathes, where money moves through proper channels, where everything is documented and filed and above reproach. Tonight, the office feels particularly quiet, the kind of silence that only exists in skyscrapers after business hours when even the hum of daytime ambition has powered down to standby mode. The clock on my computer screen shows 9:47 p.m., and I'm 3 hours into what should have been a 45-minute data transfer. The Tribeca acquisition files are massive. Years of financial records and property assessments and legal documentation that need to be uploaded to the secure server before the lawyers arrive Monday morning. My eyes burn from staring at progress bars that crawl across my screen with maddening slowness, each percentage point feeling like a small victory against exhaustion. I hear his footsteps before I see him. Measured, purposeful, the kind of walk that speaks of absolute certainty in every decision. Mariko Bianchi moves through his empire the way other men breathe, with an unconscious authority that makes even simple actions feel weighted with significance. You're still here. His voice comes from behind me, smooth and dark as aged whiskey. I don't startle. I learned that control months ago, train myself not to jump at sudden sounds or show surprise when he appears without warning. Just finishing the Tribeca files. Everything should be uploaded within the hour. He moves to stand beside my desk, close enough that I catch the scent of his cologne, expensive and subtle with notes of bergamot and cedar. This close I can see the detailed script tattooed along his neck, Italian words that disappear beneath the collar of his charcoal suit. His dark eyes, nearly black in the low lighting, scan my computer screen with the same intensity he brings to everything. Those eyes miss nothing, a fact that's made me compulsively careful about every expression, every gesture, every micro-reaction that might betray the weight I carry beyond these walls. You've been here since 7. It's not a question. Of course he knows. Mariko Bianchi knows everything that happens in his domain, tracks the movements of his people with the same precision he applies to his business interests. The acquisition needed attention. I keep my voice professionally neutral, the tone I perfected over 11 months of walking the razor edge between essential and invisible. The legal team needs clean files for Monday's closing. Gino can drive you home when you're finished. He says it casually, but there's something beneath the offer, a thread of concern that wealthy, powerful men extend to their valued employees. It's the kind of gesture that seems generous on the surface, the sort of thing a good boss does for people working late hours. I can't accept. Can never accept. That's not necessary, Mr. Bianchi. The words come out smooth, practiced for months of similar refusals. The subway runs all night, and I'm only a few stops away. I don't want to pull Gino away from whatever he's doing. Mariko tilts his head slightly, studying me with an expression I can't quite read. Assessment, perhaps. Curiosity about why his accountant consistently refuses courtesies he extends as a matter of course. Most employees would jump at the offer of a private driver, especially late at night, especially in a city where convenience is currency and time is the ultimate luxury. But I'm not most employees. I can't risk Gino seeing where I actually live, noting the neighborhood with its barred windows and graffitied walls, asking polite questions about why someone with my education and obvious skills pays rent in a building where gunshots sometimes punctuate the 3 a.m. silence. Can't risk any connection forming in that sharp, observant mind between Sandra Butcho, the competent accountant, and Dante Butcho, the man who still owes Viktor Sokolov's Russian crew $73,000, plus the interest that compounds like a malignant growth. The subway. Mariko repeats the word as if testing its weight, his tone suggesting he finds my reasoning somewhere between amusing and inexplicable. Men like him don't take subways, don't wait on crowded platforms, or navigate the peculiar social dynamics of public transportation. His world moves in private cars with tinted windows, in elevators that require key cards, in spaces carefully insulated from the chaos of ordinary life. It's actually faster at this hour. I offer him a small, professional smile, the kind that suggests capable efficiency rather than desperate secrecy. No traffic, direct route. I'll be home before Gino could even get the car pulled around. For a moment, he simply looks at me, those dark eyes seeming to catalog every micro-expression, every carefully controlled gesture. Then he nods once, accepting my refusal with the easy grace of a man who never has to push because authority simply flows from him like gravity. Monday, then. He steps back, releasing me from the weight of his attention. Don't stay too much longer. The files can finish uploading on their own. Of course. Good night, Mr. Bianchi. He moves toward his private office, his footsteps fading against marble floors, and I release a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The transfer bar on my screen shows 87% complete, and I force myself to wait, watching numbers climb with agonizing slowness while my shoulders gradually unknot from their defensive tension. When the upload finally completes at 10:23 p.m., I go through my shutdown routine with meticulous care. Save all documents. Close all programs. Clear the cache. Log out of the secure server. Lock my desk drawers. Gather my personal laptop and the leather briefcase that contains copies of files I'll review over the weekend, making sure everything looks exactly like what it is. A dedicated employee taking work home, nothing suspicious, nothing worth noting. The office building feels vast and empty as I make my way to the elevator, my footsteps echoing against marble in a way they never do during business hours when these halls buzz with the controlled chaos of legitimate enterprise. The night security guard, Marcus, nods at me from his station in the lobby. He knows me by sight now. The accountant who keeps unusual hours, who sometimes arrives before dawn and sometimes leaves after midnight, always carrying that same leather briefcase, always offering the same polite smile. Late night, Ms. Butcho. Big acquisition, closing Monday. You know how it is. Take care out there. Supposed to rain. The October air hits me the moment I push through the revolving door, cold enough to make me pull my navy leather jacket tighter across my chest. The street outside gleams wet under streetlights. Recent rain making the pavement reflect the city back at itself in distorted mirror images. At this hour, the financial district transitions from its daytime personality of aggressive ambition into something quieter, darker, the glass towers standing like silent sentinels over empty sidewalks. I check my phone as I walk, finding a text from Marco asking when I'll be home. Something about needing help with his college application essay. My younger brother, 19 and brilliant and completely unaware of the weight that's shaped every decision I've made for the past 3 years. I type a quick response, promising to look at it tomorrow, then slip the phone back into my jacket pocket. 3 miles. That's all it is. 3 miles from Mariko's legitimate empire to the apartment I share with my mother and brother. From the world of marble floors and secure servers to the reality of barred windows and broken elevator buttons. I've made this trip hundreds of times, the route so familiar I could walk it in my sleep, each landmark a checkpoint in the careful separation I maintain between these two versions of my life. The briefcase feels heavier than usual tonight, the leather handle digging into my palm as I navigate the quiet streets. Inside are copies of the acquisition files, property assessments for buildings worth more than I'll earn in my lifetime, financial projections that map futures I'll never inhabit. I need to review them this weekend. Need to ensure every number reconciles perfectly before Monday's closing. Need to be so thoroughly competent that Mariko Bianchi never has reason to look deeper into who I am beyond the efficient accountant who makes his problems disappear. The neighborhood shifts gradually as I walk, the glass towers giving way to older buildings, luxury condos transitioning to mixed-use developments, the subtle markers of territory that anyone who lives in this city learns to read. This is the zone where Italian and Russian interests overlap, where protection becomes negotiable and violence simmers just beneath the surface of ordinary commerce. I'm 2 miles from the penthouse, still a mile from home, when I turn down the quieter street that leads to the subway station. Most storefronts are closed at this hour, their windows dark except for security lights that cast everything in harsh fluorescent white. A bodega on the corner still glows with warm light, and I can see the owner inside restocking shelves, but otherwise the street feels empty, abandoned to the peculiar loneliness of late-night city blocks. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Marco. This one just a question mark, his impatience showing through in single punctuation. I'm smiling at the screen, typing another response about being on my way, when the van pulls up alongside me with such casual normalcy that I don't register the threat until it's already too late. The side door slides open with a metallic shriek. 3 men spill out before I can scream, before I can run, before my mind can process anything beyond the wrongness of their synchronized movement. Hands, rough efficient, clamp over my mouth, my arms, dragging me sideways as my phone clatters to the pavement. The briefcase. I grip it harder, some desperate instinct overriding terror. It's the only thought I can form as they haul me into the van's dark interior. The door slams shut. The vehicle is already moving. Let me. The words die as a fist connects with my stomach. Air evacuates my lungs in a painful rush. I double over, gasping, tears blur my vision. Check the case. The voice is accented cold. Russian. No, no. I try to twist away, but calloused fingers pry at my grip. Another blow, this one to my face, sends stars exploding across my vision. The metallic taste of blood fills my mouth. The briefcase is ripped from my hands. Through the ringing in my ears, I hear the latches click open. Silence. Heavy, calculating silence. Then Bianchi's files. The name hangs in the air like a death sentence. She works for the Italian. Another voice, younger, uncertain. Volkov said to send a message, but this is the message. The first man crouches before me, and even through my swimming vision, I can see the deliberate cruelty in his smile. Pretty thing like you, working for a man like Mariko Bianchi. Does he know how fragile his people are? I try to speak, to explain that I'm nobody, that I'm just an accountant, that I don't matter, but the words won't come. Only a choke sound that might be a sob. His hand shoots out, gripping my jaw with bruising force. You tell your boss this is what happens when he forgets where the boundaries are. Volkov doesn't appreciate being ignored. The beating that follows is methodical, professional. They know exactly where to hit to cause maximum pain without rendering me unconscious, at least not immediately. Ribs, stomach, face, each impact accompanied by another message for the Italian boss. I stop fighting after the first few blows. Survival instinct takes over, and I curl inward, try to protect my head, my vital organs, anything I can shield. Time fractures into fragments of agony. When the van finally stops, the door opens to empty darkness. They dump me onto cold concrete, an alley, somewhere industrial by the smell of oil and garbage. Remember, the Russian says, tossing my briefcase beside me. Papers scatter like wounded birds. You're only alive because Bianchi needs to receive our message. Make sure he gets it. The van door slams. Engine noise fades. I lie there, broken and bleeding, surrounded by the evidence of my professional life. My anonymity, my protection, shattered as completely as my body. Mariko Bianchi. They knew, and now he will too. Getting home is a blur of agony and automotive mercy. A cab driver who asks no questions when I press cash in his hand with shaking, bloodied fingers. My apartment building's elevator feels like a confessional. Fluorescent lights expose every split lip, every darkening bruise. I keep my head down, praying no one sees me. The universe grants this one small kindness. The hallway is empty. Inside, I lock the door and lean against it, finally allowing myself to collapse. The bathroom mirror reveals the damage. My face is a canvas of violence. Left eye swelling shut, a gash above my eyebrow, still seeping blood, bruises blooming across my cheekbone in shades of purple and red. I lift my shirt with trembling hands. My ribs are worse, mottled with bruises that will deepen to black by morning. I should go to a hospital, but hospitals mean questions. Questions mean police reports. Police reports mean attention I cannot afford. Attention he cannot afford. The files scattered in that alley contained information that could destroy empires. If this becomes official, if anyone discovers what I was carrying, my hands shake as I clean the wounds with supplies from my meager first aid kit. Each touch of antiseptic is white-hot agony. I swallow 3 painkillers dry, chase them with a 4th. Sleep doesn't come. Every time I close my eyes, I'm back in that van, feeling fists connect with flesh, hearing that Russian accent. You tell your boss. By dawn, I've made my decision. I have to go to work. The logic is simple, desperate. If I don't show up, he'll ask why. Questions will lead to answers. Answers to consequences I can't predict. What if he thinks I'm weak? Unreliable? What if the attack makes me a liability he can't afford to keep? I need this job. My father's debts don't pause for trauma. The makeup takes 40 minutes. Foundation layered like armor. Concealer packed into every shadow and split. The swelling around my eye won't fully hide, so I contour carefully, hoping it passes for exhaustion. I swallow more painkillers, add a pair of dark-framed glasses I normally reserve for migraines. My reflection shows a woman holding herself together through sheer force of will. The suit I choose is structured professional, designed to hide the way I'm moving stiffly, protecting damaged ribs. Each breath is shallow, calculated. I practice in the mirror, walking without limping, holding files without wincing, maintaining the composed mask I perfected over years of hiding financial desperation. You can do this. Just get through today. The subway ride is torture. Every jostle, every sudden stop sends pain ricocheting through my body. I stand despite empty seats, knowing I won't be able to rise again if I sit. Bianchi Tower looms ahead, all steel and glass and impossible expectations. I square my shoulders, immediately regret it as my ribs scream, and walk through the doors. One day, I just need to survive one day. Then I can figure out what to do about the men who know my face, my name, and exactly who I work for. The executive floor is a study in controlled chaos when I arrive. Phones ringing, assistants moving with purposeful urgency, the underlying current of power that permeates everything within Mariko Bianchi's domain. I keep my head down, focusing on each step. My desk sits in the outer office, a strategic position that grants me access while maintaining invisibility. It's where I've perfected the art of being essential yet unseen. Today, invisibility feels like survival. Sandra, Mia, Mr. Bianchi's personal assistant, appears beside my desk before I've even set down my bag. Her perfectly manicured hand rests on a stack of folders. Mr. Bianchi wants the quarterly offshore reconciliation report. He's requested you present it personally at 9. My blood turns to ice. Personally, in his office. Her eyes narrow slightly, studying my face. Are you wearing new glasses? Headache, I say quickly. I'll have the report ready. She nods and walks away, heels clicking against marble. I have 40 minutes. The work is mechanical, numbers I could compile in my sleep. My fingers move across the keyboard with practiced efficiency, but every keystroke sends small shocks of pain through my bruised torso. I position my chair to minimize movement, but there's no comfortable angle when your ribs are screaming. At 8:57, I gather the printed report with hands that won't stop trembling. The walk to his office feels like approaching an execution. Gino, Mr. Bianchi's head of security, stands sentinel outside the double doors. His eyes track me with the same assessment they always do, but today his gaze lingers. I force myself not to look away, not to flinch. He opens the door without a word. Mariko Bianchi's office is a monument to power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, dark wood and leather, every surface carefully curated. And behind the massive desk, the man himself. I've worked for him for 2 years. I've seen him negotiate, intimidate, destroy competitors with nothing but a phone call and that cold, calculated intelligence. But I've rarely been alone with him. Our interactions have been brief, professional, filtered through layers of hierarchy. Now, his attention is entirely on me. Ms. Moretti. His voice is deep, measured. The report. Yes, sir. I cross the room, each step carefully controlled. I place the folder on his desk, then step back to the appropriate distance. He doesn't open it. Those dark eyes, almost black in the morning light, remain fixed on my face. The silence stretches. I feel exposed, dissected. Come closer. It's not a request. I move forward, fighting every instinct that screams to run. He rises from his chair with fluid grace, all 6 feet of controlled power. He's in shirt sleeves today, no jacket, and somehow that makes him more intimidating, more real. He circles the desk, stops directly in front of me. Look at me. I raise my eyes. The glasses don't hide enough. I can see the exact moment he notices. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Remove the glasses. Sir, the lights. Now. My hands shake as I comply. Without the tinted lenses, the swelling around my eye is fully visible. I watch his expression shift. Not to shock, but to something far more dangerous. Recognition. Who did this to you? His voice drops to something lethal. It was an accident. I fell. Don't. He cuts me off, the single word cracking like a whip. Don't insult my intelligence with lies, Sandra. The use of my first name jolts through me. He steps closer, and I instinctively retreat, then gasp as the movement pulls on my damaged ribs. His eyes darken further. Where else? Nowhere. I'm fine. His hand moves, not to touch me, but to gesture. Show me. Mr. Bianchi. That wasn't a request. My hands tremble as they move to the buttons of my suit jacket. The fabric slides off my shoulders, and I hear his sharp intake of breath when he sees what I've been hiding. The bruises have deepened overnight, purple and black spreading across my ribs like spilled ink. Every breath I take is visible in the slight hitch of my chest, the way I can't quite expand my lungs fully. Cristo, the word is barely audible, but the fury beneath it is molten. He doesn't touch me, but he moves closer, his eyes cataloging every mark with clinical precision. When he speaks again, his voice is terrifyingly calm. Sit down before you fall down. I lower myself into the chair. He indicates, grateful because my legs are shaking too badly to support me much longer. He moves to his desk, presses the intercom. Gino, my office. Now. Then he turns back to me, and I've never seen eyes so cold and yet so absolutely focused. Tell me everything, every detail. Start from the beginning. The denial dies in my throat. There's no point lying to this man. Not when he's looking at me like I'm a puzzle he'll solve regardless of what I say. Last night, I began, my voice barely steady. After I left the office, I was walking to the subway when a van pulled up. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't interrupt. 3 men. Russian accents. I watch his expression shift, something dangerous flickering in those dark eyes. They dragged me inside, took the briefcase. When they opened it and saw your files, my voice cracks. They said I work for you. From Mariko Bianchi. They said it was a message. What message? Each word is carved from ice. That Volkov doesn't appreciate being ignored. That this is what happens when you forget where the boundaries are. I'm shaking now, the memory too fresh. They knew who you were. They knew what the files meant. They did this deliberately, as a warning to you. The silence that follows is suffocating. Gino enters without knocking, his massive frame filling the doorway. He takes one look at me, and his expression hardens into something murderous. Volkov's men attacked her last night. Mariko says without preamble. Find them. I want names, locations, everyone involved. And I want the security footage from every camera within a 3-block radius of the office. Already on it, boss. Gino's voice is granite. How long? 2 hours. Maybe less. Mariko nods once, dismissing him. Gino leaves, but not before giving me a look that might be sympathy or respect. I can't tell which. When we're alone again, Mariko moves to the bar, pours 2 fingers of whiskey, and brings it to me. Drink. I take it with shaking hands, the burn doing nothing to ease the cold terror settling in my bones. He crouches in front of my chair, bringing himself to eye level. This close, I can see the absolute control it's taking him not to, what? Rage? Destroy something? Listen to me very carefully, Sandra. His voice is soft, deadly. You don't go home. You don't leave this building. Gino will take you to the penthouse on the top floor. You stay there until I handle this. Handle what? His smile is predatory. What happens to people who touch what's mine? The possessive pronoun hangs between us, shocking in its implication. I'm just your accountant. You stop being just anything the moment they connected you to me. He rises, towering over me. They made you a target. That makes this personal. The penthouse is a fortress disguised as luxury. All glass and steel with bulletproof windows I don't notice until Gino points them out. Doc will be here in 20 minutes, he says, his tone almost gentle. Don't leave. Don't answer the door unless I clear it first. Then I'm alone with my thoughts and the city sprawling below me like a glittering threat. The doctor arrives exactly on schedule. A silver-haired woman who asks no questions and offers no judgments. She works in efficient silence, wrapping my ribs, cleaning the wounds I couldn't properly reach, prescribing painkillers I'm certain aren't available over any legitimate counter. You'll heal, she says simply. Rest. Don't be stupid. After she leaves, I stand at the window, watching the sun climb higher over a city that suddenly feels full of enemies. Somewhere down there, 3 men are going about their day, not knowing they've signed their own death warrants. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Stay put. MB. 2 hours pass. Then 3. I'm dozing on a leather sofa when voices in the hallway jolt me awake. Mariko enters with Gino trailing behind, both men carrying an energy that sets my nerves on edge. We found them. Mariko's voice is flat, factual. He crosses to the bar, pours himself a drink. Footage shows the van, license plates. One of them was sloppy at a gas station, paid with a card linked to Volkov's payroll. He pulls out his phone, swipes, then turns the screen toward me. Security camera footage shows 3 men climbing out of a van. Even through the grainy image, I recognize them. My stomach lurches. Dmitry Sokolov, Viktor Petrov, Alexei Romanov. He names them like he's reading a kill list. Mid-level enforcers. Volkov sent his second string to deliver a message to me. His jaw tightens. That's the real insult. He didn't even consider me worth his best men. Gino speaks up, his voice like gravel. They've been running protection rackets in Brighton Beach. Volkovs try to expand west, testing boundaries. My boundaries. Mariko sets down his glass with controlled precision. He sent them after an accountant carrying my files, beat a woman half to death, and expected what? I'd accept his warning and back down. The rage beneath his composure is terrifying in its intensity. He turns to me, and his expression shifts, not softening exactly, but clarifying. Do you understand what you've become, Sandra? The moment they connected you to my organization, you became a symbol, weakness or strength, depending on how I respond. I didn't ask for this. No one asked for war, but it comes anyway. He moves closer, those dark eyes holding mine. Volkov harmed one of mine. In this world, that demands a response that makes the cost absolutely clear. One of yours. I echo, the words feeling foreign in my mouth. Yes. There's no hesitation, no ambiguity. He looks at Gino. I want them alive. Bring them to the warehouse on Pier 17. And make sure Volkov's people know exactly where to find what's left. Gino nods, a grim smile touching his lips. Public message. Very public. Mariko's voice drops to something lethal. I want every crew in this city to understand that there are lines you don't cross. People you don't touch. He turns back to me, and I see it clearly now. The protection I've gained is absolute, but it comes wrapped in violence I can barely comprehend. You're safe here, he says. But Sandra, you need to understand what that safety costs. He leaves shortly after, taking Gino and that terrible purpose with him. The penthouse falls silent except for the ambient hum of the city below. I should sleep. The doctor's painkillers are making my thoughts fuzzy, my body heavy. But every time I close my eyes, I see that van door opening, feel those hands dragging me inside. The clock reads 3:47 a.m. when I finally give up on rest. The penthouse has a second bedroom, where I've been installed, but the walls feel like they're closing in. I slip out into the hallway, drawn by voices coming from somewhere below. The floor beneath this one, accessible by a private stairwell I'd noticed earlier. I should go back. I should not be hearing this. But my feet carry me down the stairs anyway, and I'm halfway to the landing when I hear him. Expected me to accept this? Mariko's voice carries that same lethal calm from earlier, but now it's honed to a razor's edge. You put your hands on someone under my protection. You made her bleed. You used her to send me a message. Another voice, heavily accented, strained with pain. Volkov's orders. We didn't know she was important. She works for me. That makes her important. I creep closer, peering through the gap in the partially open door. The room beyond is sparse. Concrete floors, overhead lights casting harsh shadows. 3 men are on their knees, hands bound behind their backs. I recognize them instantly. Blood streams from various wounds, but they're conscious, aware. Mariko circles them like a predator, Gino standing sentinel by the door. Let me explain something about respect. Mariko continues, his tone almost conversational. In this city, there are rules, territories, lines that exist not because of law, but because of understanding. Volkov has forgotten these things. He's mistaken my patience for weakness. Please, one of them starts. You beat a woman carrying my financial records. You terrorized her, broke her ribs, marked her face. His voice drops lower, more dangerous. Do you know what she did after? She came to work the next morning. She hid the damage, swallowed the pain, because she was terrified of losing her job, of disappointing me. My breath catches. He knew. He'd seen through every layer of concealer, every forced smile. That kind of loyalty deserves protection, absolute protection. He stops in front of the center man, the one who'd gripped my jaw, who'd smiled while delivering Volkov's message. You took something from her. Her safety, her anonymity, her peace. Mariko crouches down, forcing eye contact. So now I take everything from you. And I make sure Volkov understands exactly what it costs to touch what belongs to me. He rises, brushes imaginary dust from his sleeves. Gino, boss, end them. Make it public. I want the bodies found in Brighton Beach by sunrise. I want Volkov to see what happens when someone crosses a line with Mariko Bianchi. The words are so calm, so matter-of-fact, that it takes a moment for their meaning to fully register. My hand flies to my mouth, stifling the gasp. And make sure the message is clear, Mariko adds. This is the price for harming one of mine. I should be horrified. I should be running, calling the police, doing something other than standing frozen in this stairwell. But all I can think is, he's doing this for me. I flee back upstairs before I can hear what comes next, before the theoretical becomes visceral reality. My hands shake as I close the bedroom door, pressing my back against it as if I can physically block out what's happening floors below. The sky is lightning when he finds me. I'm standing at the window, watching dawn break over the city, when I hear the penthouse door open. His footsteps are measured, unhurried. He knows exactly where I am. You should be sleeping. His voice comes from the doorway. I don't turn around. Is it done? Yes. One word. Final. Absolute. I heard you, I admit quietly. Downstairs. I heard what you said to them. Silence stretches between us. And he's crossing the room, stopping just behind me. Close enough that I can feel his presence, but not touching. And what did you hear, Sandra? That I'm yours. The words taste strange, dangerous. That this was about ownership. No. His correction is gentle but firm. This was about respect. About making it clear that certain actions carry consequences. He pauses. But you're not wrong about the ownership part. I finally turn to face him. He's removed his jacket, rolled up his sleeves. There's blood on his shirt cuff. Small spatters he hasn't bothered to hide. The evidence of what he's capable of, what he's just done, is right there in front of me. I should be terrified. Instead, I feel something else entirely. Something that makes me a different person than I was 48 hours ago. Your father, he says, shifting topics with jarring suddenness. He owes money to some dangerous people. Gambling debts. $53,000 at last count. My blood turns to ice. How do you? I know everything about the people who work for me. I just hadn't paid attention before. His eyes hold mine. But now I am paying attention. Now I want to understand what drives a woman to hide injuries that could have killed her, to show up to work rather than seek help, to choose my approval over her own safety. Tears burn behind my eyes. It's not just my father. It's my mother's medical bills, my sister's tuition. The debt was supposed to be temporary, but it kept growing. I've been making payments for 3 years, but they keep adding interest fees. My voice cracks. I can't ever get ahead of it. How much do they threaten you? Every week. They call, show up at my apartment. Last month they said if I didn't pay double, they'd visit my sister at college. The confession pours out, all the fear I've carried alone. This job, working for you, it's the only thing keeping them at bay. The salary is enough to make payments and keep them from. I can't finish. He moves closer, his hand coming up to cup my jaw with surprising gentleness, careful of the bruises. Listen to me. Your father's debt? Handled. The people threatening your family? They'll receive a visit today, explaining that you're under my protection now. I can't let you. It's already done. His thumb brushes across my cheekbone. Your problems are my problems now, Sandra. Your safety is my responsibility. Do you understand what that means? I stare at him. This man who just ordered 3 deaths, who's solving my life's biggest crisis with the same casual authority he uses to run an empire. It means I belong to you, I whisper. His smile is dark, possessive. Yes, it does.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.